great thing about LXPs and other learning systems are getting in are doing it too, but the majority, this is the initial advantages of an LXP, where something I call playlist. The vendor may refer to it as channels or some other thing, but at the end of the day, it's a playlist, all right? And if you think about it, the learner goes in an LXP and they pick, whether it's by topics or interest or by, an interest of skills, they go in and select this. And then the content is generated out of that playlist, and they can create their own playlist, and you will have a recommended playlist if the system is using machine learning, and so forth and so forth. And some people use LXPs with the assigned learning, which is where they assign the content. So here's where you should look about the advantages of multiple paths with multiple playlists. When you're dealing with B2B and customer training, remember, one piece obviously is you want to provide the content that's relating to the product or the service. The product could be software, doesn't have to be. But if it's software, right, you're going to have multiple. You're not going to shove your entire, how to do something in a 45-minute technically duration. Remember, people learn on their own time. In other words, the goal of any learning is to focus on what I'm interested in, when I want it, whenever I want it. Okay. It's a nonlinear methodology. That's why web-based training was created. That's what its main big difference is over, like face-to-face content, or, if you're attending school content. So it's called asynchronous based. So here you're coming up with a playlist. The playlist could be on topics of interest. Again, I want them to see the perks and benefits of my company, the company you're working for, the business. It could be your own business. I want to show them those benefits. An association, right? You always talk about how can I do the benefits, the course of action here for them. So you get to pick a variety of topics. Who doesn't like that? I saw a comment about a library thing. Well, here, we can't go to the bookstore right now. Here you go. So you can have content in there that are even ebooks. You can have a variety of things. The thing to remember about content is you can't be reselling it. So your content you can charge, obviously. Content coming out of an LXP, you're going to have content providers and partners that you're doing partnerships with. Not you, the vendor is. You're just buying the content. But you can't obviously resell that. But you can provide it as a perk and a benefit. Skills. What skills are they interested in learning? Right? It's not about, you're not going to be utilizing assigned learning here. If you're thinking about your LXP and you're like, oh, I'm going to create an assigned playlist, that is not a good idea. All right. If I'm buying your product or a client or things, you're giving me recommendations. That's fine. Suggested. That's fine. Some systems do that. But you should never be doing assigned learning. Assigned learning, if you're doing that, that's employee driven. And you may say, well, they're employees at these companies. The B2B and customer training never sees it in that light. So nobody is going to want to take an assigned learning path playlist. Even if the system offers it, some have it on as a default, turn it off. Interest, again, that's another playlist. And when you're creating recommended and impersonalized here, the thing to remember, excuse the D&E that's dealing with the text blocks here. But when you're doing that, remember what the end game is, right? The end game is for them to gain the knowledge.